Hello, I am Jason ILTG. I recently placed third in the December Qualifier for Storybook Brawl, and I'm here trying out something new, making a video going through some of my games in detail. So this is day one. This is my first game. I think it was a really interesting game, which is why I want to do this. And yeah, let's just jump right in. So first of all, this is my hero choice. Currently on 2x speed, I'll keep pausing the video and such. I think this isn't a great choice of heroes, but it's not horrible. Jack's Giant, I think it's pretty bad. It's decent early game, relatively strong early game power, but it falls off a lot since it doesn't scale. Mordred is pretty bad because it has no early game power, and it's fine in the late game, but even so, it can still be awkward. I've never liked Apocalypse as much as other people have, and I think it's even weaker in the tournament, especially now that it's 45 instead of 50 health. I just think the power isn't that strong at level 6. It gives you some new avenues of play, but also restricts you from doing anything scaling, which is what I think the strongest comps are. So I'm just going to pick Loki here. I think it used to be really good, now it's a bit worse since more spells are added to the pool, but still pretty serviceable, just high variance. I'm going to skip a bit. Okay, so here, first turn, we got a pretty bad spell, can't use this that well. At least, this shop isn't that strong. Mim is pretty strong, but I don't love taking it turn 1 since it guarantees loses you the fight, unless your opponent also takes Mim or casts Strength spell. Baby Root, even worse than Mim. Same problems, and just not a good unit, though it's literally good. Minotaur is fine, it trades, but I think since I have the spell, I'd just rather roll for something better, so that's what I do here. Just did a quick check over the heroes, and I'll just take Chicken here since the other two aren't that exciting. Tiny, same as Minotaur, kind of trades. Worse because it doesn't combo with Black Cat. And I like Chicken just for storing gold. So here, again, get not a great spell because I didn't get anything turn 1 to snowball, so here I'm not that likely to win, but in order to maximize my chances, Cat plus Mim is pretty strong. If my opponent didn't do anything special, then probably the Cat trades for 2 things, and then the Mim is left and I win. Interesting decision whether or not to lock here, but it's primarily for this poly with a Mim. That's generally a combination I like, but going into next turn, I won't want the poly to slay on 2.2 because it'll be giving me a level 3 unit just as I go into level 3. I'd want it to wait until 3.0 where I'm going to get a level 4 unit. So this is not the best time to buy a poly, so I don't elect to lock here, especially since these 2 units are not great. So right now I'm feeling fairly weak. I basically only just lost 2 HP from my hero power and nothing else, and I don't even win this fight, so it's not going so great, but then I get a shrink spell and everything is fine in the world. So interesting positioning decision here. Cup Purse I really want to slay, so I put it in front of the Mim in slot 1, that's obvious. Cat in front of Mim, also obvious. Egg in the back row, so it doesn't die, that's pretty obvious too. The question is whether I play Chicken in slot 4 or slot 6. And putting Chicken in slot 6 protects more against Baby Dragon. Specifically, I don't want a Baby Dragon to come in and kill my Mim, or with a Sad Dragon, it might even have 7 power and be able to kill my egg. That's not that likely because they'd have to slay twice in a row, but it could happen. But in slot 4, it means that this Cup Purse slays more. I elect to do this, though you do see me consider putting it in slot 6 because I do want this Cup Purse slay, and it's even more important against Sadrak because Sadrak will always go first here, so it's going to matter. It's going to take it from a 1/4 instead of a 1/3 chance of my thing getting sniped, but it got sniped anyways. And here we get an excellent spell. So we just want to build our strongest board here, and our strongest board is a Pig is a pretty strong unit, just a 3/6 is just good stats. And here evil queen is very good when I have 3 evil units here, so it's already a 7-9. That's just more stats to the Humpty, and last minute I'm going to make this swap because I don't care about the pig surviving that much. I'd just rather win this fight, and it would be nice if my egg stayed alive too. So it wasn't a great start, but now that we have 2 XP, actually 3 now ahead of the lobby, we're doing very well. So I normally don't like Chupacabra, but taking it here I think is pretty reasonable. It's we're on level 4, 2 turns early. Yeah, 2 turns early ahead of the lobby. So it's pretty good. And it's also an evil unit for my evil queen. And this is also an interesting positioning decision. I'll let myself adjust. Okay, yeah. So here I'm doing the trick of putting a 0 attack unit in slot 1. In order to let my Chupacabra slay and buff 2 things. And then also nice is that it lets this Mim be more likely to die before my evil queen attacks because it's now in the front row. So yeah, it also lines up well with wanting like evil queen, pig, and Mim to be in the back row. And then I'm putting Chupacabra second, so it can slay, most likely. I think I swapped these in the end, so that the cat can maybe slay, and then the other cat in front of him as well. Yeah, there are a lot of interesting positioning decisions in this game, which is one of the reasons why I thought it was so interesting. I believe we lose this fight because of the court wizard. Yeah. Not too badly, though, and we're 3 XP ahead of the lobby, so very good. And here, Sporko and a second Chupacabra is pretty good. And here there continue to be pretty interesting positioning decisions. I definitely want the Sporko behind both Chupacabras because getting power buffs on the ranged unit is really good. So that's pretty easy. I want to play all evil units. At this point, I'm against Merlin. I'm probably not going to win the fight. I don't really want to play Pig, plus like it's pretty awkward to play Pig here, because I do want like 2 supports and Evil Queen in the back. And then Black Cat here, and just a 1/5 because I cast a random spell on it is pretty decent. Also, at this point, like I could be cashing in eggs just for strength, so I like don't lose fights. But since I have 2 of them, I'm trying to see if I can get a 3rd for Easter egg. Now, and also putting the bigger Chupacabra first in order to maximize the chance that I get any slays at all, because that's most important for starting to buff this Sporko. And nice, we got both slays there, and win the fight, so that's pretty good. Evil Queen continues to carry a lot of weight here. Oh, and now we get Lancelot. Lancelot is one of my favorite units in the game currently. I think a lot of people underestimate how powerful Lancelot's slay is, because like they think, oh, you need to get specifically like Lancelot and Baba Yaga. You can only get started very late. But if you're able to like upgrade Lancelot pretty quickly, that's actually +4/+4 per turn with Baba Yaga and Grimsoul multiplying that is really strong. And if you're ahead on XP like I am, like this is when other people are normally reaching level 4, and I already have a Lancelot, that's the perfect time to move in. Like I don't usually force it, but if I get a Lancelot early, that's a very good sign for being able to be Lancelot slay. And here this positioning is also very interesting. I'm doing the 0 power trick again, where I put a 0 power thing in slot 1 so that my Chupacabra can slay, and this way I'm putting Lancelot in slot 5 so it's also likely to slay, and letting a Chupacabra buff it as well. Not sure whether it's correct to play Mim or Cat here because of this spell. The Cat like they both do like similar things of soaking up hits and like not doing much else. The min might be better so that like it guarantees doesn't take up an attack like the cat just did, but close either way. It's very nice here to get 2 slays. So Lance is now at 15 power, and we get the perfect pieces for Lancelot's Slay here. Baba Yaga, Grimsoul, and yeah, just sell some unneeded stuff, and I think I'm going to buy another Baba Yaga here. Yeah. So now the Lancelot's at 23 power, going to trigger imminently. Unfortunately, we still have to run these Chupacabras because they're just the best units on our board. So the Grimsoul doesn't like guaranteed pop off the Lancelot. It's not guaranteed anyways if they could go first and snipe the Lancelot. So yeah, I could run 2 eggs here instead of 2 Chupacabras, but honestly, Grimsoul triggering a Chupacabra isn't the end of the world like it does here, because like buffing ranged on the Baba Yaga is pretty good too, and we got the Slay and survived anyways, which honestly is fairly likely against Geppetto when their units start out small. Yeah, so we get a level 5 treasure here. Pretty close choice between Hand of Midas and Ambrosia, actually. Ambrosia is nice right now for immediately upgrading a Baba Yaga. We can move this Lance over, cut the 2 Chupacabras, and start going to town with Lance. But I choose to take Hand of Midas because all of the units that we would want to buy are basically triples anyways, right? Like we'd want to triple a Chupacabra, we'd want to triple Egg, we'd want to triple Baba Yaga. So we can actually probably carry this Hand of Midas into level 6, which would be pretty good. Also, looking at using Hand of Midas on a Shoulder Fairies is really good for Lancelot Slay. The comp usually wants to basically buff Lancelot a lot and then use Shoulder Fairies, Echo Wood to reflect those stats onto like your whole board. So you like spend most of the game just scaling your Lancelot, and then at the end have a board that's just Lancelot, a bunch of Shoulder Fairies, a bunch of Echo Woods is the ideal thing. But yeah, we find our 3rd egg here, and we find our 3rd Baba Yaga here, and I'm just going to sell the 2 Chupacabras here so they stop eating the Slay triggers from the Grimsoul. And this is also an interesting choice. Horn of Olympus can sometimes be good in Slay builds so that you can like have multiple Baba Yagas buff your whole front line. But since in Lancelot Slay it's less good because you really only have 1 Slay unit you care about. So usually you can just put 2 Baba Yagas behind it, and like that's not hard to fit. Also, it doesn't do anything immediately here really because we're very low on units. Meanwhile, Staff is interesting since we're like fairly healthy and fairly strong, but we are like relatively weak right now actually with only 5 units. We're going to get a huge power spike next turn when we can use Hand. It's also interesting that Staff makes it more likely that we can hand something good next turn. But in the end, I elect to take Dracula's Saber because there's both Geppetto and Piper are strong in the lobby and are likely to have a lot of summons. We already saw Geppetto did, and it's just like an immediately very powerful effect, especially with 2 ranged units. So you can see it started out at 42.29, the Lancelot, and after Grimsoul and it slayed, it got plus 16 was that? No, plus 26 plus 26. Oh, except one thing died, so it was actually plus 24 plus 24. Yeah, getting plus 24 plus 24 every turn is very strong scaling. Yeah, our egg dies here, but that's fine. It did its job. It got us a treasure. And yeah, here we see 2 good boys. So that's a very strong thing to use Hand of Midas on. And interesting decision here. We have 5 gold left. We want to lock the shop. I don't particularly want to sell anything for the 2nd good boy, and we're facing a ghost, which means what we can do is, so one thing with 5 gold, we can buy and sell at level 3 and then buy the other level 3, right? And the question is which one do we want? Theoretically, the good support is stronger here with like good boys, right? And it's a good unit. But we're facing a ghost, so that means the pig here will actually cost 0 gold net because it probably survives against the ghost. And also, if it dies, we don't care that much against the ghost. And also, we don't need to be that strong against the ghost. So it's very important to realize when you're facing the ghost in these games. Yeah, we don't have that many good units right now, but it shouldn't matter that much when we're getting 4 good boys, essentially. So now we're looking maybe to not be purely Lancelot Slay and also just be good, move into good boys. Unfortunate that we didn't get the pig, but their nice shrink spell lets us buy good boy and fairies, and also this Nian here to get another level 5 treasure. So the positioning here is also really interesting. We want the supports in the back, of course. We want Grimsoul and Lancelot in the front, Lancelot in front of Baba Yaga. And we want the good boys somewhere, probably in the front. So probably it looks like this, but the question is, like, what order do we want these things in? Generally, I want the non-upgraded good boy to die before the upgraded good boy, because then the upgraded good boy stat gets more stats to distribute, and you want that. It's a bit trickier here since we don't have that many good units, so maybe it's better for the upgraded good boy to die first, because like then it's buffing 2 units instead of only 1. So actually it might have been better to swap these 2. But also an interesting thing is we have Dracula's Saber, which is why I'm putting the Lancelot first here. That way we're basically guaranteed to get 1 trigger off of Dracula's Saber to buff our other stuff. Since our other stuff is like these 3 units here and the 2 supports aren't that big, it's good to get those Dracula Saber buffs early in order to make these trade better. So it's definitely tricky positioning. I think this is fine. Maybe I would have switched these 2. Also, more summons here, really nice. Also, amusing that people still aren't on 6 and we have 2 good boys, 1 upgraded. Yeah, we win this very easily. We're very strong here. Most of these decisions, I think, don't end up mattering that much since we're so much stronger than the rest of the lobby, but it's still definitely interesting to think about how to maximize all of this. Oh, and we also got this random spell here, which is actually kind of nice, giving us another good unit. And here, Robin Hood is pretty good with good boys. Lets us buff them even more. So here, more positioning trickiness. Definitely want all 3 range things in the back, so that they get the most value out of good boys and Drax Saber. Then the question is how I order things otherwise. Still want Lance here in slot 1 probably, so still want Baba in 5. Then after that, I think this is a bit of a misplay probably. So the thing is I want the Robin Hood buff to go on the good boy, and that's actually kind of tricky to arrange. Because I can't let this good boy be in front of either of these supports, otherwise it'll have more power than the Robin Hood. So actually maybe this is fine, so that constrains it to be here, and the good boy to be here, and this worker to be here, so that it gets the buff from the Robin Hood. And then maybe I should have swapped these 2, so that the good boy goes before the Nyan. That's actually, that was probably actually a mistake here. But yeah, the difference between putting something in 4 and putting something in 3 isn't that significant. Usually it gets attacked and killed anyways. But the difference between 2 and 3 is actually pretty significant. Like, the Nyan almost died when it attacked. Yeah, we win this very easily. And also get 2 Lancelot attacks, which is nice. And we work towards a level 6 treasure here. Sell off the Sporko that isn't doing that much yet anymore. I mean, close here between Ivory Owl and Pandora's Box. Ivory Owl is pretty strong here to buff our good boys, but Pandora's Box is really good as well, because it can, like, basically all the choices are really good. So Mirror Mirror is obviously insane when we have two good boys. Excalibur and Holy Grail are just like generic value, and Fairy Queen's Wand. Fairy Queen's Wand is probably just like... Fairy Queen's Wand is probably better than Ivory Owl, but it's not clear. It might be worse because like we're likely to have many turns with Ivory Owl, but it is immediately stronger, which is maybe important when we're at 16 life and just don't want to give that many losses. Other level 6 treasures, or level 7 treasures, plus 100 magic sword is really good boys. What else? Round Table is pretty good when we're looking for, when we have a shoulder fairies and like a big good unit but not a big evil unit. And I think I'm missing something, but I can't think. Oh, Black Prism. Black Prism is really bad with Loki, admittedly, but that's the only bad hit. It's possible that I'm supposed to take Ivory Owl here because I'm already very strong, but I think the upside from Pandora's Box is really high enough here. Oh, also, this is another interesting positioning decision. This slot 7 good boy is because I'm playing against a ghost and I have an Easter egg, so I want this good boy to get the buff from the Easter egg. And I'm playing Grimsoul because, again, against a ghost, I can greed some more triggers here. It's possible I could even like cut this Nian to make it more likely that Lancelot attacks again, but I don't think that's necessary. And nice, that worked out. And we get a Round Table, which is very nice here. So now our Shoulder Fairies actually becomes a real unit. It's like a 165, and we immediately get Echo Wood and Ashwood Elm here. Selling the Nian because our treasures are pretty good, and it's possible I should have sold the good boy here, since we're not likely to be good boy anymore instead of the Nian, but either way, it's pretty fine. But yeah, now we're just building towards Round Table, perhaps trees, perhaps something else. Having the Robin Wood already was pretty nice. And they have a pretty strong board here with Bearstein and Singing Swords and lots of animals, so glad that we went for the high roll. And we get a Knighthood here, which is very good, and another Fairies, which is also very good. Forgot to buy the chicken, that was a slight misplay. And now, since we're trees, going to sell off the Baba Yaga and a good boy in order to get this transport. It's possible I should have kept the Baba Yaga around, since like this is still going to be our biggest good unit, and maybe I should just care about growing this more, just stick to the Lancelot plan. I think that was probably actually a misplay, but mostly it doesn't matter that much here. And yeah, like this support didn't make us actually that much stronger, because mostly our power is in our really big units. We kill this person exactly here, and we're down to the finals. So we see another good boy here, which is amusing. Lots of good boys, and we see another Fairies. And I believe that's the first time I've ever sold a unit I've used Hand of Midas on, chickens notwithstanding. And yeah, now we just have 3 shoulder fairies that are all like 200/200s and an Echo Wood that's benefiting from all of them. So we just have like 5 200/200s roughly. So yeah, again, I decided to put all of these in the front for Dracula Saber purposes. Getting lots of good trades here. And barely win because of the fog. But yeah, we were very set up here, and now we get another Echo Wood, and our comp is basically complete. This Robin Wood isn't that good. I don't know if there was something that we could have sold it for. I know there was a Cupid. We could have maybe sold 3 for the Cupid. That might have been better when they have a big Echo Wood. But this is fine. There's also this Medusa that we can't sell for right now. And this is basically just, the rest of the game is just watching this play out. Not much else happens. I guess there's one more not that interesting decision actually. Yeah, they buy Cat's Call here, which is good, but not good enough. Our Echo Woods are too big. It lets them like barely survive. Here, Jack's Giant like gives a bit of a boost. I considered locking there for the smite because it's pretty good against their, if it gets the smite, Bearstein, or like any of their backline is really good to get to smite. But like, I don't know, I just roll past it and find another Ashwood here. Like, it's not gonna matter because I'm gonna win this. If like Cat's Call didn't do it for them last turn, it's hard to imagine what could this turn. Our comp is thankfully very resistant. Resilient? That might be a better word. But yeah, that's basically this game. Very interesting game. Pivoted a lot of ways. A lot of interesting positioning decisions throughout. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Whoever's watching, I might make more of these from the rest of my tournament games. But yeah, thanks for watching.